All right, everybody. Today we are going to be discussing how to lessen. That doesn't look like it's spelled right. Lessen negative thoughts and enhance positive thoughts and emotions. I'm going to give you guys some tools that are really imagination drills that you can use to really spin the negative thoughts out of your head and replace them with positive ones. Before we get to that, though, we really need to understand what the purpose of the negative brain is. If you were to imagine a road, right, and you're standing right here, you're standing on one side of the road, the negative brain's function. When I say negative doesn't really mean negative the way that we think about it in a societal construct. It means the fear and the what's the other word? The fear and the frustration. So these parts of our brain allow us to analyze whether crossing the road is the right thing to do, right? And then the positive mind is going to tell us all of the things that are over here. There's a big star over there. All right, so negative mind stops us from crossing the road. Positive mind tells us to cross the road. Neutral mind is wrapped up in the experience of crossing the road. There's no positive, negative associated with it. So with all of that said, we have an abundance of marketing, and our entire society is constructed around this negative mind. This is what gets us to spend money on things because we think that we don't look good enough. And if we don't look good enough, we're not going to be liked by our friends, and we're not going to find a mate. And so the negative brain is basically hijacked by our entire society. So a lot of us are programmed to be overrunning the negative brain. So I'm going to give you some ways to turn that around so you can start practicing positive spectrums of thought and emotion. And whether you believe in manifestation or not, positive thinking and not walking around with a chip on your shoulder, looking at everything as a threat, is going to increase your life to a degree that's tangible. It'll be measurable. So whether you believe in manifestation or not, having a positive mindset has a lot of benefits. So imagine you're on a bike. This is a bike, and you're just driving on the bike. This used to happen to me all the time till I basically had to teach myself this stuff. So you're on a bike, and you start thinking about, oh my gosh, am I going to get hit by a car? And then these thoughts just invade your brain. And this can be translated into any scenario, right? But if you're on a bike and you start thinking about, what if a car hits me and then my life is over and I can't do this and I can't do that? The way to get rid of that is through contrast. Our brain also works very, very well with contrast. So if we just replace over this image, an image of what I would probably do in this scenario is on a hilltop on that same bike with the sun shining on me, right? With no other threat possible. So if we just use a contrasting image through our imagination to overlay on top of the negative scenario, our brain will do a really good job of accepting whatever you're giving more energy to. Now, for me, it works just by simply replacing the image. Okay, just replace the death and destruction or whatever crazy stuff's happening in my mind with something more pleasant. For some other people, you might want to minimize. So basically make the image smaller, put the positive image right next to it, blow this up so that your brain is actually doing work. Your subconscious is doing work to minimize the importance of what your brain is designed to do, which is fear things and keep you alive, and amplify the importance of what you really want to be focusing on. Okay? Now, this can be done in physical scenarios like this. It can be done around things like money, right? Fearing losing your job, fearing not having enough money to pay the bills. Replace that with images, thoughts, emotions of abundance, of whatever you deem as luxury and harmony. Another way that's similar to this is brighten one image up, dim this image. So dim the negative image, brighten the positive image. Okay? Another example is that sometimes people feel like other people are thinking bad of them, right? So we got you. And let's say I know that there's people in my audience that will resonate with this. Let's say you feel that there's an entity. This is my drawing of a frog. Let's say you think that there's like a frog entity attached to your heart or lodged in your brain. We can simply, so the trick that I learned was to imagine a toroid, which is kind of like those donut spiraling shaped things. This is supposed to be a toroidal field. So if you have problems with thinking about other people's psychic energy, what I do is I destroy that with a toroidal field of light. And this toroidal field will dissolve if I feel like there's some attachments that I don't like on me, or that there's thought energies coming towards me. This toroidal force field kind of builds a force field and it destroys anything negative. We are harmonious with this toroidal energy force. So this is actually what our heart field looks like anyways. So this is another good tool if you feel like you've got some attachments stuck onto you, or you even have entities stuck onto you. All right, so let's say you've got pain, injuries, disease, right? You got the body. Let's say let's say this part of your body hurts. So a lot of people, they just focus on this part of the body, right? Now, the reason for all of these drills is to focus on the positive rather than the negative, because we know if we're focusing on not having to pay the bill, like being afraid of paying the bills on time, then being afraid to pay the bills on time is going to persist, right? What you resist persists. So we want to work with another game, right? So instead of focusing on what we don't want, we want to focus on the opposite, the contrast of that. So let's say we got a pain in our body, whether it's here, something in our digestive system, rather than focusing on, I hope this gets better, I hope this gets better, I hope this gets better, like, I hope this gets better, I hope this gets better, I hope this gets better, I hope this gets better. That is not necessarily how most healing modalities work when it comes to psychic healing or energetic healing. What you can do using kind of the framework of those healing modalities is you would want to look at the parts of you that feel great. Let's say this feels great. Let's say even your right bicep feels great, or your feet feel great. I had all these different markers. You want to amplify the light that you feel in the great places in your body so much that they start taking over your entire body. So you want to take the light in your body and you want to amplify it so that any sort of darkness or negativity that's going on, any energy blockages that's happening, you're utilizing the well-functioning parts of your body, the parts of your body that are filled with light, and you're transmitting that light into the areas of darkness in the body. So anyways, I was just sitting out here and I thought I'd give you guys some drills. Hope you guys enjoyed that. How do I end these?